Hi, this is John Schmitz with Do Something Indy, and Josh Bach from Amplify Indy came into the studio, and we had a very good talk about all the projects we're doing and what we're trying to do to make our city better. And we want to focus on folks that are out there doing something. You know, he talks about, a lot of talk and not a lot of action. So, hey, speaking of talk, let's get done with this talk. Let's look at that clip. Hello, this is John Schmitz with Do Something Indy, and I have a special guest with us today. His name's Josh Bach, and he's with Amplify Indy, among other things. And we're going to have a discussion about all the good things that him and Harrison Painter, Harrison couldn't be here today.
The great Harrison Painter.
The great Harrison Painter. Now, I will have a bad dad joke for him in his honor that I know he'll be jealous of and probably steal and use.
Yeah, too much of that
already.
Yeah,
too much. So, but we have Josh here, and he's well capable of explaining what Amplify Indy is about and all those good things. So, Josh, introduce yourself and tell us some things about you.
Yeah, my name's Josh Bach. Grew up in Muncie, Indiana.
Ball State.
Yeah,
tweet,
Ball
chirp,
State.
chirp,
Chirp,
tweet,
chirp.
tweet.
You got that?
Yeah, did you go to Ball State?
I did go to Ball State.
Really? What year did you graduate?
99.
1985.
Yeah.
Wow,
you're a couple years old.
I'm seasoned.
Yeah,
I'm seasoned.
yeah. I was kind of like Tommy Boy. It took me a while to get out of Ball State.
Yeah,
so I was there quite a long time.
Yeah. Well, you lived in Muncie and all that, so that's cool. So what else is interesting in your life? I know you were at the Alamo a couple weeks ago.
At the Alamo. Yeah, at not St. Augustine.
San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Tough trip, wasn't it? Jet lag and all, right?
Man, it was awesome. What a great place. It was good. Yeah, I mean, we're community builders. So Amplify Indy is a media outlet and a community building organization where we have monthly events, we have podcasts, and our objective is to be able to just reach out and find the people that in our community that are doing that are in the trenches, making things happen, that are a lot more into action as opposed to just lip service.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly why I wanted to have you talk about your show here, because that's what the Do Something Indy is. We do the same thing. I'm like this. It's not a say something campaign. This is a do something campaign, because we have a lot of people that tell us about stuff.
Oh, for sure. All day long.
I mean, I feel like I want to be in Missouri, the show me state, but maybe we could take a card out of their deck and say, hey, this is what we need here. But yeah. So give me an idea of some of the things that you've covered or that you're planning on covering.
Yeah, well, we're going to launch a big campaign. We haven't even announced it fully yet.
So is it secret?
Drum roll.
Can we announce it here and tell everybody? Or?
Well, I can plant some seeds because it's not fully baked.
Seeds. I love seeds.
Yeah, seeds are good. But we're launching a podcast format.
Okay.
And just think of Netflix on a local level with podcasts.
Okay.
With a focus of people in the community that are making things happen, that are doing things, and that are collaborating. So
collaboration. That's what we're doing today. We're setting a good example. Now, being from Muncie, that Netflix, that really cool Netflix is Stranger Things. That name's already taken. You can't take that for this. So, but that's interesting. Stranger Things is like Muncie or somewhere in Indiana, right?
It's Indiana. I think they made up a town.
Okay, yeah.
But it
could be Muncie.
It could totally be Muncie.
Yeah. So that's going to be great. When's that going to launch?
We're January 1st.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got most of it kind of laid down, but there's a lot of inner workings. But just think of a way for podcasters and people in the community to work together and to be able to have a solid outlet that allows more and more viewership or listeners to our podcast.
So what made you and Harrison get this started? Let's take us back to the start of, you were just sitting around drinking beer and say, hey, let's do this here thing.
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do this. Hey, hold my beer.
Right. Yeah. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So what was that? How'd that work?
So it's fascinating because my background's real estate. Harrison's is real estate as well.
Okay.
We met about 14 years ago. We worked on some projects together back in the day. He ended up moving out to LA and Hollywood, and he was one of the original YouTubers.
Is that where he grew his beard?
Probably. He's got the gray or the white.
He's like a hipster. He probably got Vans on right now out there.
Probably does. Tight leg.
Yeah, he's not here to defend himself either.
He's not. No, we can make fun of him all day long.
So
we reconnected about 2.5 years ago, maybe almost 3 now, and really from that point just really saw some of his visions and what he's wanting to do. He was just launched or getting ready to launch Amplify Indy, and my background that we work together on as well is with coffee community outreach for financial education. So we figured out more and more ways on how we can work together, build community. We started doing podcasts. We started doing monthly events and started telling jokes on stage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a Harris. Woo, boy. Now, you talk about those monthly events. Give me a couple of them. I've attended a few of these events. Very, very well run. Nice, quaint audience.
Yeah.
And good topics.
Yeah, if you go to amplifyindy.com or go to the Facebook page, Amplify Indy, you'll be able to see and get plugged into our monthly event. So what we do is we wanted to have a event where we bring community, culture, and commerce together. And so in a way that we celebrate the nonprofits that are out there doing wonderful things that really don't get a chance to shine or get much exposure. And so we also want to feature artists, musicians. So we want to create a fun, festive event of people that believe and love our community, and that want to meet other individuals that do the same thing.
Yeah, and I find that, anymore with the media that we have, you have got to be entertaining, or the people just click onto that next video. And I know sometimes they call that clickbait or whatever, but you need to grab somebody's attention and you got to hold it. And I think you guys do a good job with that. I mean, you've built your audience. Let's see, I was on your show last year probably, and it just takes time to build that audience. And to be able to get the message out, it's tricky because there's a lot of noise out there. A lot of noise. So what is, I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, what is the most difficult thing as far as breaking through that noise that you guys have run into?
Well, I think paying attention to what people want to hear and feel, plus attracting the right people. You get the right people in the room, and there's a lot of people that have that same passion for this community. If we figure out more and more ways on how we can bring those individuals into a room, magic happens. Yeah, unity in our community. It's like one of the things that I as going out in the community, see all these little satellites, and yeah, of course it's good to stay in your own lane. Sure. But you can also work together, and that's a tricky thing. And I know you've found that out. And I know one of the shows and some of the series that I paid attention to was your having George Middleton in and talking about race and all that. That seemed to really, start to maybe bridge that gap in some of the issues that we have concerning that. If you don't know George Middleton, you need to. Oh, he's the coolest. Yeah, I mean, he's just so cool. You don't want to be around him because he just sucks all the air out of the room because he's just so cool. He's a jazz musician. He's just really cool. That's all. He's a therapist with a lifelong mission and purpose is to really help people understand what racism is. Yes. The awareness of and ways on how corporations, communities can address it, talk about it, and move through it and grow from it. Yeah, and I think we are at a point in our culture that really just needs to happen. I mean, it's people talk about it. This is another talk, and we need to do some things. Yeah. So those are the type of things that you do. And I want to talk a little bit about our friend Margo Ward. Margo Ward, yeah, because that's probably how we end up getting. I don't know how we ended up. It would not surprise me if that was. She's the great connector. Now she will get behind the scenes. Yeah, she'll introduce you to somebody and say, "Okay, now you go." Okay, now what do we do? So I have like new friends that we're doing projects together with. So if Margo says you need to meet someone, I've got a pen and paper. Yeah. And I'm wanting to figure out when and where and how. Now, Margo is also at the Hope Center, and that's where give us some background on that. Yeah, so our nonprofit is headquartered there. Okay. And that nonprofit is? It's Coffee, Community Outreach for Financial Education. Okay. So give us a little bit of info. And that works well with Amplify Indy as well, because any proceeds and everything that we do will help fund our works with coffee. So what we do is financial education. So our mission is to partner with other local nonprofits and to find ways on how our program can be developed and catered to their program to help their program grow. in regards to financial education, I'll give you an example. So we do all the financial education for the Hope Center.
Okay.
Hope Center, most viewers I'm sure know what the Hope Center is, but
Well, I don't know if you don't know, the Hope Center's on the east side. You go out 52 Brookville Road, and that's an old what was that used to be?
Gosh, it's been a number of things.
It's like an orphanage, or
it was an orphanage at one time. It was originally a hospital.
Okay.
It was a college, and so it's a huge
building. It's a big old institutional building.
24 acres. I want to say 500,000 square foot of space.
Yeah.
Of
and
building.
What's in, this is a collaborative space. So what's in there? We have coffee. We have Teen Challenge.
Teen Challenge. You've got the new community arms that's in there now. You've got, just a large number of entities that help support the Hope Center. Hope Center is the nation's largest aftercare facility.
Right. Like reentry and...
Yeah, for women coming out of sex trafficking.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's doing some great things, and they have a boutique down, in their lobby area that you can go out and purchase things there to help that program. So this is the type of thing that, this is your bread and butter here, bringing collaboration together with different groups. And, what was that old commercial in the 70s, BSFA, we don't make the music, we just make it better.
Right, yeah.
I love that. I mean, now you say that, but you might not even know that being a 2000 millennial graduate. You may not know nothing about that. But yeah, that used to be a great commercial. I loved it because it's like, hey, you don't have to make it, but you can promote it and make it better. So you have your new podcast coming out. And you're still going to continue to do the monthly events. What is your next monthly event?
Yeah, next monthly event's in January.
January.
And so I think talking about some of the themes will give people a better idea of what the event is. But we've done our last event was a conversation about racism. So that's a big community topic that we embrace and figure out ways to get through. We had some incredible people come through. We had a gentleman from a race from Houston, Texas, that's making a tour around the country. He came. We had the gentleman from vice president of CVS Pharmacy.
Okay.
That also lives in Indianapolis, believe it or not.
Really? Don't tell anybody.
Indianapolis and New Jersey, and he came. We had just a panel of phenomenal people. We did an open discussion. People broke out in small groups and we got to share thoughts, and everyone walked away. I'm very confident that everyone walked away feeling a little better, a little bit more confident about a topic that we can get through these things.
It's very uncomfortable. I mean, because I think a lot of times we're afraid we're going to say the wrong thing.
Right.
And, and this thing, I would say mercy is the biggest word. Mercy and grace. It's like, you know what? It's don't let it ruffle your feathers. And we are in a time now where, man, people get sideways quick.
Very, very quick.
So,
and they're non-forgiving.
It's pretty much, I got a whole list of Facebook friends that just shut me down and said, because I said one thing wrong, which if you stick around me long enough, I'm going to say more than one thing wrong. So, and that's one of the things I would say that open-minded situation. I think we're at a spot where I think at some point that's going to be, we're going to be able to make some hay with that. We're going to be able to get some things done. So do you have some topics picked out for some upcoming shows?
Events?
Mm-hmm.
Events.
Yeah.
I mean, we do. There's a couple that we hit every year. One of which is the Empowered Women of Indy, being able to have an event of spotlighting some rock stars and having an all-women cast. So it's kind of cool seeing that, because it's just like we do a really good job. It's actually pretty organic on how we feel our audience as a whole. Old, young, all different colors, all different shades of color. We've got different political backgrounds, just very diverse in industry.
In other words, it's championship wrestling in a cage.
Yeah, pretty much.
But and that's great. There is, I think that's one of the, I don't want to call it the women's movement, but there's a lot of women that are just stepping up. I mean, they're not waiting for for somebody to say, hey, it's okay for you to do that. They're just like doing it.
Yeah.
And I see that in maybe the race relations too. So you're not. I can't throw you in the old white dude category, but I'm the old white dude for sure. I think the time for the it's that you just do a year of show and the gray comes like that. So. But it's like I think the age of the old white dude is is coming to a fork in the road.
Well,
let's put it that
you know,
way.
the more focus that we have on human being,
Yeah.
on humans, then we start to drop a lot of those labels and categories, and you know, we're going to balance ourselves back out.
Yeah, and
I believe that we
I
will.
do look forward to that because I don't want to be labeled an old white dude because I'm anything but that. I mean, some might argue that, but I like to say seasoned or elderly.
Yeah.
But you know, just be respected by your merit and what you stand for and what you do, not by your race, religion,
Right.
color, you know, all those things. So I think once we get to the point where we can respect each other in that way,
Yeah.
I think that's when we'll make some good progress on things.
For sure.
And I know that's what your show or your entity
Yeah.
is trying to promote.
And we do. We have some events that what we don't want to do is schedule the events out solid for the whole year because things could change.
Pop up. Yeah.
Just like with was it last year we did Possibility Over Poverty. That was one that we put in there pretty quick because of the issues we were having within our city with the homelessness problem and downtown area. And we just felt compelled. We're like, man, let's shift some gears. Let's do a focal point. We had the event at the Vogue. I think that was the first event you came to.
Yeah, it was really good.
We had 300 plus people there.
Yes, yeah, and it had
was
a good panel of folks, and you know, and that's one of the things that I see that you know is really lacking in our community. You know, we have the big media; they're worried about the big things,
right.
But there's a lot of people that doesn't cover and doesn't help.
Yeah.
So you know, I think that we'll be able to get some groups together. I know the Gray Area is a group that serves the Black community, and so these are media outlets I want to get together so we can collaborate and cover some things and get some things.
I'd love to learn about. I'd love to be connected with that group.
Oh yeah,
You said
I
Gray
think
Area?
the Gray Area Media.
Okay.
It is Patrick Williams and Ray. They put that on, and I've been on their show a couple times, and they're just great guys. They're trying to help mostly their community, come up. But I think this is a we thing. It's one of these things where we all need to get together
for sure.
and be positive, because we have so much negative these days that it's just sort of depressing. I mean, we're all busy.
Oh yeah.
It's like we had to catch up before the show just to
did,
catch
yeah.
up where we were, because we're both going this way and that way, and you're down there in the Alamo and doing your thing. And so, sometimes it's just good to have a sit down and talk about it.
It is. I want to touch a little bit of what you said, and on there is a big focus. You've got the large media that focus in on the national politics, national news, and there is not enough local coverage. And I don't think it's because people don't want to, are not as interested in it. I just think there isn't enough energy being placed into the media and the sources in order to make awareness. Because if you think about, that's where we can do something. It's very difficult for someone, anywhere in the country to do something on a national level all the time, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
But what we can, and that creates problems
Yeah,
within
because
itself.
you could be naked down at the fountain or something
Right.
and get on that. That's not good.
Right, but there's a lot of energy that I think people waste and are consumed by these big situations that they really can't do anything about other than vote.
Vote. Yep.
And try to spread their message on social media.
Like we're doing.
Well, yeah. But on a local level, when we're able to take even a fraction of that energy that we're spending on these big national things, if we can just take a fraction of that energy and invest it into our neighbor and in our neighborhood and our community and our local council, when we can take some of that energy and place it there, that's when things start to shift, man.
That is, and I know you're a finance guy, and and I run a business, and I know that efficiency is king, and
absolutely.
Don't spend money you don't need to. And when I look at how our government does things with inefficiency and the money they spend, and that's when I get a little frustrated to think that with just a little bit with a percentage of that,
right.
the good that can be done if it's placed in the right place with somebody that has that passion,
right.
and give them that ability to to get their vision going instead of beating the drum for finances.
Yeah.
Most of the nonprofits, that's their biggest. You talk to them, oh, I got to raise some money. I got to raise some money.
Yeah.
Now, the art center, our art center here in Mars Hill, we set that up where we don't have a mortgage and we have a renter that pays a lot of our bills, so we don't have to chase that money. But right now we don't have a renter,
Right.
so we're doing a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But it's not a full time; it's a temporary thing.
Yeah.
So that's a model that I like to try to set up
Yeah,
with
I
somebody. If
love
you
it.
can, I mean, it's not everybody can do that right out of the gate, but that's how you build it, and that's what we want to try to do. We want to try to help somebody. So I would say an invitation. I'm going to put you on the spot here too.
I'm up for
Reach
it.
out to Amplify Indy or to do something Indy. We have ways to do that. We have ways to be able to show you a path to realize your vision.
Well, and to make the connections. I think what's unique about the communities that we're building, that we're part of, they're very collaborative and they're very win-win oriented. And so win-win versus win-lose, I mean, there's a bunch of different analogies for that. That's a foundation of an individual that can be changed. But when you have an organization that is focused in on win-win and collaborating and figuring out ways that we can do a lot more than if I just hoard it and try to just do my own thing.
Yeah, because we are fighting a big government, a big media, a national media, and like I said, there's a lot of online. I mean, we're all looking at our phones all the time. There's a ton of stuff on there to look at. So being able to capture the attention and make it interesting and make it relevant for our local, something you can get involved in where your voice is going to be heard.
Right here and right now.
Right now.
And I think people are in need of that eye contact, one-on-one. You know, it's one thing to type over a computer
keyboard cowboys. I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, but there's an emptiness. I think there's a shift that I'm feeling for sure. There's a shift that's taking place that won't let go of some of the innovation that's taking place with technology. But how can we integrate it with sitting eye to eye, being in a room with each other, and being able to just talk about life and talk about solutions and help each other.
Solutions, and that's how. And we're all in this together. I had a track coach at Vincennes. As we'd ask him how many left and how many laps. He'd say grits. We're all in this together. That means we ain't done yet. So and another thing is we're all in the same boat. Just some people ain't rowing. Yep. So what we'd like to do is get everybody wanting to row, not having to row, but want to row and want to get involved. So, well, Josh, I appreciate you coming in, and I do want to end this with a bad dad joke for Harrison.
No,
yes. I work on my holiday ones.
Your entire audience is just going to click off now. They're not going to even listen to this.
So okay. So did you hear about the fake Christmas tree that had a chainsaw accident?
I did not.
Oh, well, they had to get an artificial limb. Hey, remember, folks, a groan is as good as a laugh. Now you're laughing because it's so bad.
That's a Harrison Painter joke.
Oh, yeah. I got a few of them.
If we had an event this month, he would steal that.
Oh, he can use it. That's. I mean, if he's brave enough to use that, but his reputation may be worse than mine. I don't know. It's a race to the bottom on these. So thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate everything you do.
All the information that we talked about on this will be in this video, and we'll have it at the end. And hey, get involved. We want you to do something and amplify Indy.
Sounds good to me.
All right, giddy up. Well, I really enjoyed that interview. I want to thank Josh Bach from Amplify Indy for coming into the studio. Hey, and if you liked our show and you want to continue to watch, hey, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel or like us on Facebook. We have a page. Both of those are called, oddly enough, Do Something Indy. So, hey, and tell your friends, because we're trying to build this audience to get our message out. And we want you to do something to amplify Indy. So, hey, how you like that for meshing those together? That's pretty cool, huh? Stay tuned. Next week, we'll have another guest. Thanks for tuning in.